Alright, looks like the stream's up and running. Just getting a little bit of the kind of the intro to the entire Mega Man series with this right now. Just waiting a few moments to see if anybody pops on, and we'll get this going. I also just want to hear this little theme song right here. I wish there was a longer version of this. Alright, after this cutscene finishes, I'll get straight into it. Alright, and here we go. Let's see. Yeah, I always start with Pharaoh. So, I wanted to play a Mega Man game. I still intend to finish Outland, I just needed a little bit of a break from it. So I decided I was going to indulge myself with some Mega Mans. Mega Man 4 is one that I don't really play too terribly often, but I still very much enjoyed the game. This one actually follows the story of a man named Doctor Cossack, who's definitely not Dr. Wily. Just a little bit of button mashing in this one. This one's actually not too terribly bad with button mashing, except for like a couple of points. Like this first level is like the biggest example of where you'll see me firing just rampantly like that. A little bit of tricky platforming here. So overall, like in terms of like difficulty of the game versus the kind of challenges that you face and whatnot, this one actually, I would say it sits somewhere like in roughly the middle area. It's not like the most difficult one that you will play, but it's not really a walk in the park either. Like this one was fairly well balanced. This is the first introduction to the charged Mega Buster. Can't remember what they call it in this one. If it's the Mega, I think it's the Mega Buster. But this is probably like the best in terms of charge and whatnot. You don't lose your charge if you take damage. You only really lose the charge if you let go of the button whenever you're getting attacked. And Pharaoh Man decided to throw us a bone after that rocky start, so that's fine. Generally, he's going to either throw little, like, sun balls at you, or he'll just get stuck in a pattern where he just really wants to charge up a Pharaoh shot and throw it at you, which, what I figured out later was that that's actually an indication that you should try to charge up his weapon. So with him, we can go to Ringman. So yeah, the Mega Buster in this one is fairly well balanced. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and it's got a really small kind of damage range on it. So honestly, like, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's also not as broken as it is in like 5, for example. Okay, those guys do not go down in 3 shots. 5. There we go. The bosses in this one, I personally enjoy them. I think that they got like a nice little slew of creative bosses that also, you know, like they're interesting in their own right. Like the formula really wasn't overdone at this point, so a lot of the ideas that they had with it seemed to mesh pretty well. That was a nice color of Mega Man, by the way. So something I learned from watching speedruns of this is you don't even have to fight the hippo, you can just go past him. The one drawback to the Buster in this game is you have to have fired a shot in order to begin charging it. Which, it doesn't really rear its head too terribly much, but you will find a couple of moments of it. Damn it. Alright, I'm just gonna Buster him the rest of the way. There we go. Luckily, those guys only show up like a handful of times. I'm actually going to fight the hippo this time because I do not have the extra health to soak up a shot right now. It's not too terribly difficult, just dodge the missiles and survive. The most annoying will-type enemies in the game. I believe those guys probably were the predecessors to the Mega Man X equivalents. So normally I would go along that top route, but technical difficulties have pushed me down to the bottom route. Which is fine, we corrected the timeline. That jump always terrifies me because it's just a little bit tall. Also, hello, Batman. Saw you type in period. I mistimed that one. There we go. I hate those enemies. I think you can skip past them as well. I just didn't. How many lives do we have? 3. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just try to Buster down Ringman this time. I don't want to use all of my Pharaoh shots. And I'm not confident in my health right now. Yeah, I figured. Out of all the Robot Masters and kind of like the entirety of the series, Ringman is definitely one of the ones that he doesn't really have a random pattern. He just has a really difficult to kind of work with pattern on like just a on just like a regular kind of level. Yeah, see, even with a full health bar, he pretty much nearly took me to town. He's definitely one of my lesser favorites in terms of actually fighting, but I do like the concept. Mega Man X2, yeah, that one's a pretty challenging one. Mega Man X2 was definitely where they were more familiar with kind of how to use the dashing, and like they added a lot more kind of little intricate details and upgrades to get. Maybe sometime I should go through and do a playthrough of Mega Man X2. I think I've done X and X3 before on the channel. I'm not sure. Best Robot Master theme in the game right here. People can make as many jokes as they want to about Dustman, but his theme is definitely like one of my favorite of the series. Even though his level has those annoying pit enemies. Mega Man rule number 1, if there is a pit, always assume that there's going to be something in it that's going to jump up and kill you. Because there probably is. Missed the first one of those. Takes 2 shots to kill the ladybugs. We'll let that one live. Thanks, Eddie. Oh, man. Whew! Little bit of stress there. Although right here's where the real stress comes in, so I'm just going to go ahead and clear this path entirely, including that one little extra rung. The little vending machine enemies, as I like to call them. While I do say that this Buster is good, my favorite definitely has to be either 5 or 6. 5 is just like an extremely wide beam, and like it just plows through like most enemies in the game. 6 is a little bit more balanced, I would say, but it definitely does not pack quite as much of a punch. Dustman's going to do one of 2 things. He's either going to blow trash at me, or he's going to suck. He decided he was just going to throw trash at me the entire time. After all the trouble Ringman gave me, I guess he decided to throw me a bone. As great as Dustman's theme is, his level is pretty short. So with the Dust Crusher, we can go to another person with an amazing theme. Skullman. Did I say this wasn't a mashy game? I lied. Those little bouncy ball shooting guys, those actually come back in Mega Man 6. Which, you know, if you know anything about me, 6 is the game that I play a little bit. Just a small bit. I was hoping I could make the slide drop there. Man, Eddie, you are just hooking me up today, thank you. We can technically go over that way and I think get another E-Tank, but since Eddie's been really nice to us, we can go ahead and skip that. I'm gonna switch to Ring here. Just kind of makes general dealings with these guys a bit less annoying. Once again, we could go over there and get an E-Tank, but I'm not going to. I'm not sure if you have to be quite that precise on there, but I did it. That section usually gives me trouble, and I don't entirely know why. And now we introduce Skullman, a shield boss that's actually kind of challenging, but I do like this little Easter egg. He is a generous man, and he will let you make the first shot. So that shield, it can last like a random amount of time. Like I think there is like an upper cap on it. But that shield can actually either last just like maybe like a second or two, and sometimes it'll go up to like 5 seconds. I don't know if throwing the dust buster or whatever it's called will make it last a shorter period of time. I've never really tested that, but it seems like it does. So just because Skullman is probably one of the better shield-based bosses in the entire series, it does not necessarily mean that his shield-based weapon is good, which it absolutely is not. You know, despite the fact that Dustman is the real, you know, like the trash-based robot master in this game, little did you know, Skullman is the actual Dustman. Alright. Little bit of mashing there. No big deal. So this game has 2 secrets that you can collect. I've already collected the first of the 2, which is the balloon attachment, which comes in major handy later. Decided a big jump that time. Oh, stingrays. I might actually die to this whale. Alright, now all we have to do is survive this fall, and then I don't care if I die. And then it's gonna open up, and we're good. So this second attachment is a little bit less special and crazy. This one's just like a little wire attachment. It literally comes in handy like twice in the run ever. And like one of the times that it comes in handy is actually kind of outdone a little bit by a, you know, by something else outright. It's really interesting to go back and play these games and kind of remember Megaman X exists, and like just remembering where like some of the inspiration for some of the Megaman X levels probably came into play. Shit. I think I always make that mistake. I always assume that I can make that slide, but unfortunately, you just quite don't get enough gravity from 2 of them. Alright, this time we're gonna go over. It's really nice whenever he fires the balls and tries to suck up at you, because it gives me a really good chance to kind of just mash to death. Alright, we're just gonna play this a little bit safely. If you jump up to the top of the screen and transition there, I'm pretty sure that auto kills you because of how close you are to the spikes. I've definitely done that on one of my runs before. Not that I'm trying to speedrun this game, but that's a great way to ruin your pacing. Okay, pay attention to Dive Man's mouth whenever he hunkers over. If he doesn't open his mouth, he's going to charge at you. If he opens his mouth, he's going to fire a missile at you. I make really smart decisions. I really should not have been spending as much time trying to avoid his projectiles as I did. His projectiles will do infinitely less damage to me than contact damage with the boss. So the thing I like about doing this rotation, starting with Pharaoh Man and just basically working around like what is kind of known as like the traditional chain in this game. The traditional chain gets you to a point to where you get to this level with both, you know, with Drillman's weakness as well as the Skull Shield, which will be coming in massive use here later on in the level. You asshole. He landed just like a little bit further forward than I thought he would. Like, that jump is always annoying because, like, it doesn't, like, these jumps don't look that scary, but whenever you actually try to do them, like, they are definitely a little bit more complex than they appear initially. I don't know if there is a way to defeat those outside of just using that once. Oh, wire utility use number 1. Missed that. Missed the last shot on both of them. All 3 of them. Damn it. Okay, here's where the skull barrier comes in handy. Because those guys suck. Not the little floaty guys, but the rocks falling from the ceiling. So pretty much with the skull barrier, we can keep a fairly constant momentum through that level, whereas without it you have to make a lot of seemingly leaps of faith combined with just, you know, dealing with a lot of things. I couldn't remember if he can track you or not whenever he does that. He's giving me an annoying pattern today. So he actually doesn't track you beneath the, you know, like beneath the ground, I learned. I was watching a video about just like how his AI behaves a little bit. It wasn't directly focused on that, but he apparently just dives underground and just kind of sticks there for a few seconds, and then he pops back up. So he's not actually tracking you that whole entire time until he's actually popping up. The strategy is the same either way. If he were tracking you or not tracking you, he pops up after a set period of time, and you're supposed to just basically, like, you know, wait out that timer and then just move at the next second. So with Drill, we can technically go and do Toadman. I say technically because I'm actually going to cheese the shit out of this boss and make this one actually take a little bit of time. Introducing the most annoying weather-related level, because holy shit does the weather, the rain effects really affect your movement in this game. There's a reason that these jumps are so tiny right now, and it is because if you know, if you're paying attention, like, even with that, you know, like, with as small as the jumps are, it is a Herculean task just to get yourself to move. On the ground, it's completely normal and fine, but whenever you are in the air, it is a nightmare. What good game would exist without a sewer level? A sewer level and big doofy mouses. Meese? I'm sure there is a weakness that will actually kill him faster, and someday I will learn that weakness. That time is not now. Oh. Mises, I like that. Makes me think of Rick and Morty, the Meeseeks. Oh, damn it. Mistimed that jump just by a little bit. I think I have to kill the second guy again. Yep, sure do. Well, let's try to fuck with this a little bit. Let's find out if he has a weakness. Oh. Controller, please. Definitely doesn't appear... Oh, there we go. I mean, that took just about as long as it did just to buster him down, so I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. My controller temporarily unplugged during that, so that was, exciting is the word I would use. General rule in Mega Man games, whenever you're trying to make those, like, really pixel-perfect jumps, whenever you think you're about to run off the edge, go just, like, a step further. Oh, wait, we're gonna cheese this boss, that's right. We're gonna cheese a boss in a level with mice. Coincidence? So Toadman, he's a pretty groovy boss. He likes to groove. So whenever he starts to dance, you can interrupt his dance, which therefore negates his inescapable damage by just bustering him. Whenever he's not dancing, he's actually reading your inputs to see if you're firing again, and then he's going to jump. So what we do is we basically just wait until he starts to boogie, and then we shoot him, he gets stunned, and then we just shoot him again. And as long as I don't press the fire button any more times than this, he's not going to do anything. Case in point with this last shot. He tried to jump. He just couldn't escape it. The invulnerability frames on bosses in this one is somewhere between Mega Man 6 and Mega Man 3. It's not extremely long of a delay, but it's also not exactly a short one either. The Rain Flush is not a good ability. I wish it were a good ability. It's only useful for one real thing. And it is dealing with this fucker right here. So this level is just a big back and forth, as if this section right here weren't indicative enough of it. Whoops! That's probably game over, I think. Nope, I'm getting really lucky with those. So technically I could just not shoot the, I could just not shoot the light guys and that's completely fine. That is a long jump, that is why I missed that. I thought that was like a section shorter than it was. Brightman's level is okay, but I guess like the biggest problem that I have with his level is just thematically it just doesn't make sense. Like, you know, like the electricity and the like lights turning on and off, that is completely fine. Like that part, that tracks. The part that confuses me is just everything around the whole like totem poles and you know, like the weird grasshoppers jumping up and around, like those little like plant-looking guys. None of that makes sense. That way down there leads to like an E-tank or something, but screw that. There's no real secret to learning the totem poles aside from just memorization. Or not the totem poles, but the grasshoppers. This part right here coming up, this is the part that I kind of dub, like, this is the Brightman experience. Like, this is what the entire level is culminating towards. And I think it's a pretty cool section whenever you play it out like this. I might die. Whew! But yeah, the whole entire section just plays out as like this race against those bullets that are being tossed behind you. And just like trying to race across the platforms. You're gonna notice I'm gonna take a pot shot on him here before switching over to his weakness, and there is a reason for that. Alright. Toad. So, Brightman is an interesting individual, and his entire pattern involves jumping around and shooting at you. Who would have thought? But the thing is that there's certain health levels where he will do his Bright Flash, which will freeze you in place and make you unable to attack. And that only happens at absolutely specific health levels. So if you're bringing him down 1 health at a time, he will hit like pretty much like 2 or 3 of those. If you're using his weakness, I think you hit 2 of them. But the counter to that is to just hit him once. And whenever you hit him, he'll take a point of damage and therefore no longer be able to do that ability. Alright, so we're about 30 minutes in and we're already on the final set of stages here. We're gonna go and stop Dr. Cossack, who is not Dr. Wily, and is definitely the villain of this game. The snow slows you down significantly. Excuse me, I sneezed. Shit. That one came out of nowhere, or else I would have tried to have muted that. I'm sorry. The ice will slide you, but in typical Mega Man game physics, if you stop moving before you land, you won't slide. Just gonna get past those guys as fast as possible. I do not like them. Oh man, I almost forgot about the platforming pit enemies. It's a rule that I always tell people and urge them to remember, but I always forget it myself. And it's always whenever you get complacent and forget about them, whenever they get you the most. The ice physics in this game are intense. It takes a hot minute for you to get up to speed with it. Alright. So this is where our trusty balloon utilities will... Well, if I don't fall down and fuck myself up, that is where the balloon utility comes in handy. Let's try this again. Without screwing up. So what ended up happening there was, I was trying to do that right there, where you jump and then fire the balloon, and that gives you, that places the balloon, and then that also gives you a bit of extra height on it. There we go. So that's just an annoying section that you get to skip by doing that. Can't remember what the first Cossack robot thing that you fight is. Guess we'll find out. Oh yeah, it's the butterfly, the moth or ladybug, whatever it is. I believe this thing is weak against Ring. Ring, come on. It wouldn't be a Mega Man game if I didn't have at least one clutch kill. I've had plenty of them this time. Ring Man, I believe, Dive Man, this boss. I mean, like, I'm definitely getting my clutch kills in today. I believe left is the path. Well, left is a path. Well, that wasn't very nice of him. Well. There we go. That is how that should have went. Only takes screwing it up a handful of times. Alright, so probably like the first and only use of the rush jet this entire time. I tried to save it. I'll cheese and use a little bit of rush jet through here. No reason not to. Can we wire up this? No, we can't. But we can balloon up it. Unless we hit a wall. Oh man. Talk about clutch. We can, however, wire up this. And I'll worry about filling up balloons some other time. That would have been a good time too. Shit. That's probably game over. Eventually I'm gonna be right about that. Alright, I've got 2 lives left. I was so focused on trying to get that bat to spawn and kill him that I accidentally moved forward a little bit. Alright, and right here is where we will fulfill our balloon refill. Alright, now we no longer have to deal with Top Man there. I'm gonna do it. Oh, those guys actually deal damage on the sides? Did not know that. Let's just bait him back up this way. I actually did not know that. I thought that they were completely impervious from that side. Guess the more you know. Probably wouldn't normally waste the time getting this, but I've not been having good luck so far. Oh, this isn't gonna be the boss I think it is. Let's see. Let's just see what it is. Oh yeah. The Trash Man, slidey boss of Doom. I don't know what its actual name is. I like my name better. Oh really? We're just gonna start straight into it this time? An interesting boss to say the least. I could have got a 4th shot off of him and finished him off, damn it. This boss can't really damage you in this phase unless you get stuck at the edge of the screen, and then he will do a little bit of damage to you. I used to have a lot more trouble with that boss. Don't know why. And, like, I'm not talking about, like, you know, like, how I screwed up a couple of jumps there. Like, I always tend to do that. I used to actually, like, get pretty low on health to that boss. Time for some of the cooler music in the game. Unfortunately, it's in the auto-scroller level. Oh, we're down on the lower path now. That's fine, all we really miss out on is some energy. Probably could jump up there and get some more, but... is dust. Big Eye equivalents in this one aren't quite as horrible as some of the older games. These sections were never extremely difficult, but they were always, like, you know, it always took me a little bit of focus to kind of get through them. So, like, this little, like, pickup that's gonna be coming up here soon, I've never known how to actually properly pick this up, and, like, to this day, like, I remember watching a video on how to do it. I wonder if it's right here, actually, now that I think about it. Nope, just out of range. And, like, that is the case on both sides. Like, you are just out of range of being able to get that. And, like, I've thought, well, maybe it's a rush jet thing. Maybe you, like, plop him, like... Oh, please, not right there. Thought, well, maybe you can do something like that, or, you know, but nothing that I've ever tried ever seems to work with that. That being said, someday I'll, you know, just get bored and look it up, but I've just never really known what that was about. This boss can be difficult. Just depends on how much of a jerk he wants to be. Now I don't get as many free shots on him. And this one actually goes all around the area. I've had about 50-50 luck on this guy before. Like, I've had a couple of rounds where he's just completely destroyed me by knocking me into the pit, and then there's just nothing you can do. But for the most part, you know, if you just, you know, like, if you just play it cool, kill the first one before he gets too crazy, the second one will usually, like, run around just enough to where it's not a problem. I missed both of them, that's annoying. I will collect the E-tanks because, especially if they're right there, I will need them later. The slide in this game is another kind of sort of unintendedly good feature. Oh man, I really need to fill up my Pharaoh weapon. Jeez. Is this Mega Man 5 all of a sudden? I went from like borderline game over about like 4 times over to now like I'm extremely healthy on life. What was that, 8? 6, I think. That's how you know it's not Mega Man 5. I would be at 9 already if I was playing that game. I got fooled. Alright. I can't remember what the actual weakness is to this, so I'm gonna try the Dust Buster. I think that is it. At least partially, anyway. So, like, I usually try to cheese this boss with the wire ability, and it usually gets me more damage than I would like, so I'm more than content to use a different weapon. Wait, Dr. Wily took him? Ugh, fuck, it was Wily all along? Shit. Oh god, well, I've screwed up, guys. Apparently Dr. Wily was behind all of this. Man, I should have really known that. Like, that is an unfortunate oversight on my part. I apologize. Oh, shit. Wait. Oh, I guess I didn't technically hit all the way up. That's what was going on. It's just a little bit shy of it. Oh, that's one of the... Oh yeah, that's right. I remember what level we're in now. So pay attention to the enemy types in this level. Let's go ahead and refill our dust here. Shit. Oh no. One of those, like, 8 lives I picked up now just went to waste. So while the Mets are falling back down, they are actually vulnerable during that time. If you just hold right whenever you jump through there and just grab the edge whenever you can, you'll never get hit by it. Yoku, no thank you. Oop, okay. So there is a backup to this one. actually. Let's go ahead and get Pharaoh charged all the way back up. I will definitely need that to be full later. Oh, there's a free and easy E-Tank. Any guesses before I switched weapons what this boss is gonna be? Just a gigantic mat. Oh jeez. Yep, saw that coming. I should have used an E-Tank, but I just really didn't want to. This boss isn't that bad, even if I have to buster him. Oh geez, it starts you way back here. That jump right there, like, there's one of those jumps in almost every Mega Man game, like in a water level. And that is definitely this game's equivalent of that. Okay, I'm gonna cheese this a little bit more using the wire this time around. This one, however, I still need to use the jet for. The good news is the boss isn't way too much further from where we start out at. It's just an annoying run to get to him in the first place. So yeah, I thought you could actually slide through this boss, but apparently he is made of sterner stuff. Alright. So we are out of ring. I think dust is his other weakness. Okay, we're using an E-Tank now. Usually he doesn't take me that much to take down. I wonder, like, you know, I'm not sure if I did anything different or maybe I was using the wrong weakness. It's been a while, so I may well have been using the not correct weakness on him. That or I was just too complacent. One or the other. Maybe it was just an excuse to pad out my stream time to an hour. Alright, so yeah, it's this one right here. As long as you don't move on the ladder, you're fine. We could go for that, but we're just gonna go down here. Hey there, Eddie. Oh, another life, thank you. Appreciate it, buddy. Well, that was an amusing, cheap trick. Fortunately, I didn't fall all the way for it. Man, this game is going like full Mega Man 5 on me. There are technically other things that I can use besides the wire for these, but I never use it a whole lot in my runs in the first place, so I just figure it's always good to just throw it a bone. I need to get some of my ring back. A lot of menu swapping. Good old abusive iframes. Trying to remember what this guy is. Oh no. Wait, okay. This is the guy that is weak to dust, I believe. Nope. Is it Drill? Please be Drill. Nope. I believe it is Ring. Fortunately, he only has 2 real attacks. So yeah, the strategy is, like I remember with him, with the rings, is to just basically jump up right in front of his face and just keep jumping at him. I always hope that it's dust, though. Like, I don't know why I always do that. There's a lot of enemies in this game that are weak to ring and dust. At least in the Wily stages. Alright. Get first dibs on that. I don't think there's anything else that I really need to have, like, super up. I will get drills filled up, though. One of the Doctor Wily forms is weak against, not the drill itself, but the explosion of the drill. Could have gotten a refill out of that. Alright, boss rush and then Wily. Where's dive? There it is. Whew. Shoved a missile straight into his face. I'm sure he appreciates that. Alright, we've got our one hit on him. Fun fact about Brightman, his pellets hurt. Same thing with Skullman, really. Whew! I'm pretty sure one more contact damage would have killed me. this is supposed to be how you're supposed to deal with Dive Man. He tracks onto where you are horizontally. So I'm saving my, I'm absolutely saving my, my drills for Wily because I really don't want to get all the way there and then have to do the Wily stages. So we'll just take ourselves a little bit of a button mashing break, a little bit of a platforming break here. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I just gave him like the chance to avoid the last shot again, and he failed. We should have more than enough ring to deal with Dustman. Yeah, there we go. Using his suck ability. Now, hopefully this fight goes well, because I need to save as much Pharaoh shot as I possibly can. And then we'll use Brightman's weapon for the first time in the game for another quick and easy kill. I'm a little bit low on health, or else I would just fight him normally. There we go. I always knew that there was something nice about doing the rotation that way. Alright, so if I remember, this form is weak against dust. Which, if I remember, we're running a little bit low on. Oh, it's not weak against dust. Cool. Oh, what was this one weak against? Is this one straight up drill? Nope. Alright, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way, since I'm pretty sure it's ring. Okay, so I'm used to fighting this boss and having trouble. Didn't realize he was... Oh. Okay, I'm gonna E-tank. Didn't realize I could just like stand like beneath him and dodge like 90% of his projectiles, though. Alright, so this is the form where he is weak against the drill's explosion, but not the actual drill. If you use a rain flush right there, you can soft lock the game. Fun fact. Alright, so if I can get Pharaoh Man upgrade pellet stuff, then I absolutely need that. So the good news is that they did leave enemies here to farm energy off of. The bad news is These enemies fucking suck at dropping energy. So I'm only gonna go through here for like 1 or 2 of these, if possible. Because we could honestly, like, if I try to be really stingy and get myself completely full off of this, we could be here a while. Case in point. There we go. That should do. We do get to cheat a little bit, though, because we can charge up a free one right here. Oh, God. This could be problematic now. Okay, we're ahead of it again. Yeah, I was just gonna skip that one. Ah, I tried. And we did it! And we have a sun above our head. And that's it for Mega Man 4. I definitely plan to get back to Outland. I just kind of have been in a little bit of a funk lately, so I'll try to get back and, you know, get back to streaming that sometime soon. Like, I'm not going to make any promises because every single time I make a schedule for when I'm going to do my next stream, I end up failing that by a significant amount. So my next stream is probably going to be finishing up Outland, or at least getting through the next set of, you know, like levels on there, so that will be happening sooner than later. It feels so weird to see NF King, you know, in this game. He did a great job back then, at least, which is more than we can say about, you know, Mighty Number 9. But hey, Mega Man 11's coming out soon, and you bet your ass I'm going to stream that. I'm going to stream that in all of my failure glory. It's always interesting how in this game, Mega Man's main method of travel is via train top. So yeah, this game was always, I never disliked this game, but I definitely preferred other Mega Man games to this one. But this is a solid one. Like, I definitely would not say that this one is bad. It has a couple of issues here and there, like I wish the Buster were just a little bit stronger, but it's the first implementation of the Buster, so I can't really be too mad at it. Alrighty, we're getting kind of close to the end of the credits here. I'm going to let it play out, but you know, like that's pretty much all I've got. So please look forward to the conclusion of Outland, and then from that point I need to figure out what I'm going to stream next. I've had a couple of ideas, but the last one that I had I opted out of. So I'll try to think of something to kind of stream after Outland. Maybe I'll do another Metroid run. Maybe I'll, you know, like find, you know, some other Mega Man game, or, you know, go back into the world of mods and try to find some other crazy, like, you know, modified Super Mario or something like that. And like you know, like if anybody has any suggestions, I'm always open to them. I won't always promise I'll say yes to them, but I'm definitely not opposed to seeing different games. You know, like seeing different mods and stuff. So just let me know. And with that, I am out of here. So I will see you guys next time.